Good morning and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchise. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. No one may approach the dais at any time during this hearing. Chair Riley, we are ready to begin.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee of Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Riley, Chair of the Subcommittee. This morning, I am joined by Councilmember Abreu and Councilmember Krishnan. Today, we are holding public hearings on 3 new items. I want to let everyone know that a number of items originally scheduled for today's agenda have been laid over, including LUs 351 and 352 for 350 Park Avenue, 357 for the JFK Conduit Logistics Center, 358 for the Broadway Junction Station map change, and LUs 379, 380, and 381 for the Sidewalk Cafe application known as El Caldero, Lava Rock, and Green Pavilion. Once again, these items are laid over, and now before I go into details about today's hearing, I will now go over the meeting procedures. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or through Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council's website at www.council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up. And for those of you here in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. And please indicate if you're in opposition or if you're in favor of the project. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if you are joining us remotely, you will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony that you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony that you would like to submit instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU numbers or project in the subject line of your email. We request that the witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until excused by myself, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recording as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recording to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing records. I will now open the public hearing on pre-considered LU items under ULIP number C250044 ZMQ and N250045 ZRQ for 78-01 Queens Boulevard rezoning. An application by a private applicant to facilitate the redevelopment of a new 13-story mixed-use building with approximately 314 dwelling units, including MIH units, and a new local retail space in Queens in Councilmember Krishnan's district. The action includes a zoning map amendment to change an existing M1-1 zoning district to an R7X/C2-3 zoning district, and a zoning text amendment to map MIH. For anyone wishing to testify regarding this proposal remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/landuse. For anyone with us in person, please see one of the Sergeant-at-Arms to submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I would now like to yield the floor to Councilmember Krishnan for his opening remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Chair Riley. As the chair mentioned, I'm Councilmember Shekhar Krishnan, representing Elmhurst as part of my district where the proposed project on Queens Boulevard is situated. I'd like to thank you all for coming out and for today's hearing. I am looking forward to hearing more from both my neighbors and community, as well as the developer Apex about the land use action proposed in Elmhurst. The proposal raises a number of concerns for me. It is a mega project that includes a number of sites where I have not heard anything from the owners of those sites, no outreach whatsoever, and proposes a massive residential rezoning when there are a number of small businesses that thrive with the current manufacturing zoning on their sites. In addition, the proposed project raises a number of other fundamental issues and concerns for me that I'd like to hear more about today. One, affordability. There's no doubt that our district, in Elmhurst in particular, and frankly across the city, we are in the middle of a grave housing crisis. And we need action and development that is going to address the issue of both the lack of housing as well as the affordability of that housing. Elmhurst in particular is in need of more affordable housing that meets the needs of our district. And so I'd like to hear more today, and I have serious concerns about the current project and proposal and the affordability issues that it raises. Two, we are also a district that has the least amount of green space in all of New York City. That includes from Jackson Heights to Elmhurst. And so when we think about housing development, it is also important to think about how that will also affect and impact the importance of green and open space that is as much an issue of parks as it is an issue of climate in our districts. Finally, we also require development that in being thoughtful responds to the need for community spaces that support the needs of our neighborhoods too. When we have development, it increases population. Not only is it important to ensure that development meets the needs of residents, but that also it creates the third community spaces that are needed to support the growing populations of our neighborhood as well. And again, we rank dead last when it comes to public community space as well. And that's true for Elmhurst as much as it is for other parts of my district. So I look forward to hearing more today from Apex about its proposal and the other sites as well. And I look forward to hearing from my neighbors and constituents who might be here for your testimony about this proposal. Thank you so much, Chair Riley.
Thank you, Councilmember. Just want to state for the record, we've been joined by Chair Hanks and also Councilmember Moyer remotely. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Frank St. Jacques and Andrew Esposito. Council, can you please administer the affirmation?
Applicants, would you please raise your right hands? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this subcommittee in an answer to all council member questions? Mr. St. Jacques.
Yes, I do.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. I just ask that you please reinstate your name and organization for the record. You may begin. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Riley, council members. My name is Frank St. Jacques. I'm with Ackerman LLP. We're land use counsel for this project. I'm joined by Andrew Esposito, representing the applicant 7801 Holdings LLC. We have a presentation that I'll begin once it's loaded on the screen.
Can we upload the presentation? We can't see it in the room.
The presentation is up. Please let me contact IT.
Thank you. Excuse me, fellas. Let's just give it a second, all right? Thank you for your
Thank you.
patience. All right. I think we're good to go.
Excellent. Thank you. Again, Frank St. Jacques with Ackerman LLP. This project is a collaboration between two local development firms. Both have experience developing within Queens. The project architect is FX Collaborative, and we worked with AKRF as our environmental consultant. Next slide, please. The rezoning area shown here on the zoning map and inset is located within Elmhurst. It's within an M11 zoning district that was established in 1961. Zoning districts mapped in the surrounding area. In addition to the M11 are C42, which is a R6 resident commercial equivalent, R6 as well, R5, R4, and R4B. 1989 and 1990 rezonings mapped the R6 between Barnwell and Cornish, and the R6 C23 between Cornish and Dongan, replacing the existing M11. On the map and on the next slide, I've highlighted where R7X is also mapped along Queens Boulevard to the west of the rezoning area, and shown here on this, this detail. Much of the R7X was mapped nearly 20 years ago in the 2006 Mathspeth Woodside rezoning, shown here. The rezoning area is just off of this map. Of course, we're in a a different community district. The district boundary is at the edge of the map, but it's important to note that there's precedent for R7X with overlays along Queens Boulevard. This 23 block span was mostly C81 and M11, along with lower density residential districts that was, again, mapped with R7X. The City Planning Commission then indicated that R7X would foster opportunities for new housing and buildings of a scale and density appropriate for the wide Queens Boulevard thoroughfare, and an inclusionary housing designated area was created to promote affordable housing production. And then MIH was mapped in separate actions more recently that also established R7X zoning districts at the eastern edge of this portion of Queens Boulevard. Next slide, please. The rezoning area is shown here on this land use map. The rezoning area includes the block front between Barnwell and Cornish, and the development site is located between Albion and Barnwell. The rezoning area is similar to the underutilized C81 and M11 zone portions of Queens Boulevard that were rezoned in 2006 and then in more recent private actions. The rezoning area is primarily commercial despite this M11 designation. And the proposed rezoning would serve to connect this portion of Queens Boulevard with the adjacent R6 and C42, which is an R6 equivalent, mapped immediately to the south, where mixed-use development is permitted. I'll note that the C42, again an R6 equivalent, and the R6 would allow a 3.9 residential FAR and up to 4.8 with community facility use. And certain sites that are larger than 20,000 square feet could achieve a height of 125 feet. Next slide, please. The rezoning area is separated from lower density residential districts. It's located on a wide street and is transit oriented with access to subway and bus lines. These bus and subway lines include the MR, approximately 0.5 miles to the north, the Grand Avenue Newtown Station, approximately 1.5 miles to the east, the Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue Station, serving the E, F, M, and R lines, approximately just under a mile away. And bus lines include the Q60, Q58, Q59, and Express Q53 bus lines. The proposed development site shaded here includes 3 tax lots that would be developed as a single zoning lot. And then, as I noted, includes non-applicant owned properties both on the same block as the development site and on the adjacent block front between Barnwell and Cornish. Next slide, please. Just to note that Community District 4, as the council member noted, has a clear need for new housing and affordable housing. This rezoning presents an opportunity to meet that need. There's a critical need for housing in Community District 4, where 54% of residents are rent burdened. Community District 4 has the sixth highest rent burden population in New York City and the second highest in Queens, higher than Queens overall at 46.8% and New York City overall at 44.5%. Also note that the housing stock is aging, just shy of 86% was built before 1980. Next slide, please. So we're here proposing 2 land use actions. The zoning map amendment that would change the M11 to R7X C24, and the zoning text amendment to establish a mandatory inclusionary housing area. Next slide, please. That zoning map change is represented on this map. The left-hand side of the screen represents the existing zoning, again, M11, adjacent to R6 and C42 zoning districts, and would establish that R7X C24 with, excuse me, I've said C24 twice. I should have said C23 zoning district on those 2 block fronts, including the development site block between Albion and Barnwell and the adjacent block between Barnwell and Cornish. Next slide, please. These proposed actions would facilitate the redevelopment of the development site with a new 13-story mixed-use building. It would be about 266,000 total square feet of total floor area. That's a 6.0 FAR. About 239,000 square feet of residential floor area, about 18,000 of which would be reserved for community facility use on the first and second floors, about 9,000 square feet for commercial use. The building would have 314 total apartments. Under MIH, 79 would be reserved as permanently affordable MIH units, and I'll show you that breakdown in a moment. There would be a 159 space parking garage. That parking garage would have EV charging stations. I'll note that the building would be an electric building. It would also include green roofs, efficient systems and materials, and then a large open landscape space at the rear of the building, approximately 56,000 square feet, which you can see in the inset on the lower right-hand side of the screen. I will note that the parking in the outer transit zone where the rezoning area is located, there's a 15% requirement for standard or market rate units and no requirement for MIH units. The 15% requirement would require 35 parking spaces. However, this building would provide 159, so about 125 more spaces than are required. Next slide, please. Here I have a illustrative MIH breakdown showing option 1 mapped at the site. MIH option 1 requires a 25% of the residential floor area at a weighted average of 60% AMI, or area median income, with 10% at 40% AMI. The breakdown is shown here: 32 units at 40% AMI, 15 at 60% AMI, and 32 at 80% AMI, resulting in an average of 60% AMI, but providing a range of affordability across unit sizes. And again, there's a breakdown shown not only with the AMIs, but with the corresponding unit distribution. That is our last slide. Myself and the representative from the applicant are here to answer questions. I will just note that I did mention the R7X that had been mapped extensively along Queens Boulevard to the west of the site. Really the goal for this rezoning and for those prior rezonings is to facilitate housing production on a wide corridor near transit that can support housing at higher densities, which is what we're proposing here. This allows MIH to be created through cross subsidies with standard or market rate housing, again ensuring that there's not only new housing created, but affordable housing created as well. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Frank. I just have a few questions that I'm going to turn over to Councilmember Krishnan. You answered my first question, which is the proposed percentage of family size units, and you guys are open to possibly having more 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms.
Yes, we're open. We're happy to hear suggestions with respect to that. These are illustrative plans, but we're proposing approximately 30% 2 bedrooms and 5% 3 bedrooms.
Okay. In addition to the development site, there are 6 properties included in the rezoning area that are not owned by the applicant. What was your rationale for including these additional properties in this application?
So the rationale for including the non-applicant owned sites, it's twofold. The block front that includes the development site has a parcel that's non-applicant owned at the corner of Barnwell and Queens Boulevard. It didn't make sense to exclude that portion of the block front from the area we're rezoning. Obviously, it has the same land use rationale as the development site, being on a wide street near transit. So we included that site. And then as well, the additional block front between Barnwell and Cornish to link up the proposed R7X with the existing R6 C23 mapped to the east along Queens Boulevard, and better link it up to the C42 mapped to the south of Queens Boulevard.
I understand these are soft sites. Has there been any communication with the owners of these properties? Is there any information known regarding future development plans for these sites?
So I'll answer your second question first. We don't know of any development plans. As part of a conservative environmental analysis, we identified 2 development sites on the same block, that out parcel, lot 1, as a projected development site, and lots 7 and 10 on the adjacent block 1538, which would be another projected development site. Really, the goal is to ensure that, were this rezoning to be approved, we would look at potential environmental impacts that could happen from the redevelopment of not only those non-applicant owned sites, but the applicant owned sites. I will note that E-designations have been placed on the applicant-owned site as well as the 2 projected development sites for hazmat, air quality, and noise to ensure that, and as well as MIH is being mapped over the entirety of the rezoning area. So were these projects to be developed, they would also require MIH and be subject to E-designations for those areas.
Has there been any communication with the property owners?
There has not.
Do you guys plan on doing communication with the property owners?
I can turn it over to Andrew. I believe at the outset, we attempted to be in touch with the property owners on the adjacent block front. My understanding is there's very long-term leases of the commercial businesses on that block front, and they weren't interested in pursuing the rezoning in conjunction with our applicant team.
Okay. The proposed development site is located on Queens Boulevard, a busy thoroughfare, and is adjacent to auto-related industry and commercial uses, warehouses, and parking facilities. How will you ensure sidewalk conditions are safe and suitable for pedestrians?
So as part of the proposed development, it will likely will require a builder's pavement plan, wherein essentially the sidewalk will need to be rebuilt along the sidewalk that's contiguous with the development site. We believe that the development site is separate from those more industrial uses that are to the west and north of the site, separated by Albion Avenue, and then the property line to the north of the site. So, we think that new sidewalks will be built, but then also there's sufficient separation from the development site and those existing industrial uses.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Andrew. Councilmember Krishna?
Yes, thank you so much, Chair Riley. I just have a few questions, and I appreciate the presentation. I just wanted to learn a bit more about the project and your thinking around it too. So just to follow up on Chair Riley's questions and to make clear, there are 6 other sites that are not owned by you all. And is it fair to say that you all do not have any relationship with the other property owners? And as Chair Riley asked, no conversations about this rezoning with the other property owners?
That is correct.
So you have no sense at all how they would feel about a rezoning of their properties from manufacturing to or commercial to residential. You have no knowledge at all. Is it fair to say no knowledge of how they would feel about it if they prefer this or not?
That's correct. I can only.
Yeah, I'll just add.
I'll say that's
something
correct.
For my own, from having been involved in this for.
The mic.
Excuse me. From having been involved from day one, which is now going on 2 or 3 years, from pre-certification activities, we attempted to make some outreach through public record and trying to identify ownership. Complete zero by way of any contact whatsoever, council member. We have no intention of pursuing any of those sites should they be rezoned. Our core focus is on the property that we do own.
And nor do we know, I think sounds like you all know either, what these individuals would do with the residential rezoning for their properties either. Is that correct?
I know Frank alluded to some long-term leases. There's a DaVita clinic that we found some public record that I think they have 10 or 15 years left on a lease. Some of the properties are also owner occupied, I believe, meaning that the businesses that occupy are the same as the ownership of the real estate, which would lend us to speculate that they would not be interested in a residential development. That's the current condition as far as we know it now.
Understood. And so can you give more context about then how come your application included all of these sites? What was the rationale for it being such a big rezoning?
Absolutely. I can elaborate on that. And I'll start by saying, when we first started working on this rezoning with the Department of City Planning, our sole interest is, redeveloping a single site. City Planning looks at things more comprehensively. They want to ensure that an applicant it does not run into any issues as it relates to spot zoning or just rezoning a single site for the sole benefit of a property owner. So, we look at a larger zoning district boundary. As I noted during our presentation, we included the non-applicant owned property on our block front, as well as the adjacent block to create a linkage between the proposed new R7X zoning district and the existing residential and residential equivalent districts, so as not to have a gap between the newly created residential district and the existing residential district. So they're, not to have essentially an M district in between those two residential districts. These land use rationale for our site also applies to the adjacent block fronts. You're correct in noting that it's the full block front, so it's all those properties, but based on an analysis of the reasonable worst case development scenario, only one assemblage was identified as a projected development site. You're correct, though, that the entirety of the block front could be redeveloped. I will note that were there to be any existing industrial uses and that block front adjacent to the development site block front were rezoned, those manufacturing uses could continue as legal non-conforming uses, and the C2 overlay would also allow commercial businesses a slightly higher FAR. So going from a 1 and an M11 to a 2 FAR and M12. So it certainly doesn't have any adverse impact on either existing businesses or potential commercial growth were they to choose to redevelop without residential use. But to answer your question, it was really a sort of a lengthy discussion with city planning and creating and trying to strengthen the land use rationale for not only rezoning this site, but other sites that had the same or comparable land use rationale.
Got it. Thank you. And as I mentioned before in my opening statement too, that raises a lot of concerns for me because I have not heard from those owners of those sites. It makes for much larger and massive rezoning and confers benefits, I suppose, of residential, although for some of the existing businesses there, they may not sit as a benefit, but it really enlarges the scope of this entire proposal without the input and understanding or knowledge of and awareness of how that would affect the existing businesses that are there and what their desires are one way or another. Let's move now to another topic that's come to my attention too, which is I've heard concerns from constituents about the environmental concerns they have with this site. I've heard some concerns that it's a brownfield site. I know there's this, you mentioned before too, something about an E designation as well. Can you just walk us through, is this site a brownfield? What does the E designation mean? What are the environmental issues raised with your site in particular, and who's raised those issues from a government agency standpoint?
Sure. So the first question is a very simple answer. This is not a brownfield site. That is a term of art, and this site is not and has not been a brownfield site. Nor is it a Superfund site. There's concerns that we initially addressed in a letter to Community Board 4, and as part of this rezoning, I mentioned that an environmental assessment statement was prepared and reviewed by the Department of City Planning and sister agencies, including the New York City Department of Environmental Protection. An E designation or environmental designation will, if this rezoning were approved, would be mapped against this site, essentially creating a requirement that any development on the site before Department of Buildings permits are issued has to go through a hazardous materials rehabilitation or remediation process overseen by the Office of Environmental Remediation, a New York City agency. The reason that this hazmat E designation was mapped against the site is that a phase one, this is like an initial review of a site and site conditions and search for any potential issues relating to hazardous materials. It concluded that there is no recognized environmental conditions known as RECs on the site. However, there was a historic environmental condition identified. Essentially, there was a spill that was identified at the site that was cleaned up pursuant to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation objectives. So I can provide, that gets a little technical, but I can provide, further explanation of that in writing. It's certainly in our environmental assessment statement, as well as in the negative declaration that was ultimately issued by the Department of City Planning indicating that this project would have no significant adverse impacts relating to hazardous materials or other issue areas if the rezoning were approved.
Thank you. And Chair, if I have a few more questions, if that's okay with you.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. On that point in particular, too, so the given that it's not a brownfield, that it was a negative declaration, the E-designation or the survey that was done that concluded that, was that something that you all put forward as an additional responsibility, or was that something that was imposed on you all? I'm just understanding a bit more of where the additional environmental remediation came from.
Sure. Not sure how to characterize it in terms of I mean, it certainly is an imposition. It's the city is mandating that any development pursuant to the E-designation undergo remediation to the satisfaction of the Office of Environmental Remediation. It's something that was required to be disclosed during the environmental assessment statement process. There's a whole chapter relating to hazardous materials wherein the applicant team prepared a phase one. It was reviewed by the Department of City Planning and the Department of Environmental Protection. They determined that although there was no, again, recognized environmental conditions, there was this historical cleanup at the site that necessitated the E-designation.
I can just add one piece of context to that. So today, the site does not have an E-designation. There could be three: air, noise, or hazmat. There's none today. So if we were to choose to redevelop under an as-of-right scenario, a commercial use, et cetera, we would not have to go through the Office of Environmental Remediation, which is more stringent than the typical Department of Environmental Protection, which is the typical city agency that we work with in development activities for environmental. So it is very much a belt and suspenders kind of proposition that Department of City Planning asked us to include, which of course we were amenable to, and we work with OER quite a bit. That process will include quite a bit of additional remediation work, including things like the soil characterization, facilities where that soil goes to are specific versus a more traditional DEP type remediation. So under an as-of-right scenario, we could still develop the site, not what we're here talking about today, but we could develop the site to do something else as of right and not have to do any of this, just to be crystal clear for the record.
Thank you. My next two more topics I wanted to address quickly. One was the project, I believe, currently is MIH option 1, which is 25% at 60. Is that what it is?
At an average of 60.
At an average of 60.
With 10% at 40, yes.
Okay. You are aware that the area median income of Elmhurst is 50% of AMI, right?
We were made aware, well, I was at least at CB4, and we did hear that was a major concern, which therefore does become a concern of ours, in so much that we of course want to work with CB4 and your office to the extent possible. My challenge, which I expressed at CB4, and I understand it's a different challenge than theirs and that yours may be, is that projects like these, meaning MIH projects, don't come with or entail any subsidy dollars, so they're completely privately financed. So there's this medium that has to be met so that the project can actually be built, because there has to be a construction lender, which will typically be a private bank. So there has to be enough rent to support a mortgage on construction. That's just an economic reality that we face, and because you can't get subsidy for the MIH. So, having said that, that's just a little bit of the rationale behind why we're stuck somewhat between a rock and a hard place. But to the extent there's something that can be, done to show some additional good faith, I think we'd be amenable to that.
Understood. And that was my next question, was just, knowing that the project currently as stands is not affordable to Elmhurst, given the average AMI and where the MIH is. What is your willingness and flexibility to explore increasing or deepening the affordability to ensure it comes closer to meeting the needs of Elmhurst residents?
So the applicant is amenable to having those conversations, to deepening the affordability. I do want to push back a little bit about the project not being affordable to Elmhurst residents. We are providing, this is an average, it's an area median income. We understand that it's lower than the weighted average of 60% AMI, but 32 units at 40% AMI, 15 units at 60% AMI, 32 units at 80% AMI really spreads the comparable average to what is provided or to with MIH. So We're working with MIH option one. That's one of the tools in the toolbox at this point, but I will reiterate that we're happy to deepen that affordability.
I appreciate that, and we'll take you up on that as well, because I do think one of my biggest concerns is the affordability levels of this project and where it comes out to be relative to the needs of my district. So I will be following up on that, and appreciate your openness to those conversations. The next two questions I have, just to conclude, are one is right now there is some square footage, I believe about 18,000 or so square feet for community facility. Is that correct? And what are your considerations or thoughts as to what that community facility would be? And what is your openness to having discussions with my office on what that looks like? Because I'm not clear myself.
Sure. So I'll start with the second part first. We're very much open to conversations about a tenant for that community facility space. In terms of zoning square footage, it's about 18,000 square feet. That's illustrative. In terms of gross square footage, it's closer to 20,000 square feet. We've designed it in the building as the first and second floor. We believe that a local nonprofit operator would be a really great community asset for this project, and we're happy to have a conversation about who that may be. We've certainly had internal conversations and have identified a potential partner. But we're happy to continue the conversation with you and your team to make sure that it's someone that is acceptable to you and ultimately benefit to the
Yeah,
community.
just to put it, I mean, to be completely transparent, because I think we talked about it a little bit at CB4. We've had preliminary conversations with an organization called Common Point, previously Common Point Queens. They have a facility right down the block that they call the Hub, and they do quite a bit of community use programming. They do food pantries and job certifications, et cetera. So the thought preliminarily was some program space for uses like that, potentially with an organization like Common Point, just to add some context.
Thank you. I do appreciate further conversation. I will say currently the programs and things like that, we've got to do a lot more, because our community, as I mentioned before, we are in great need of community spaces to support the amount of housing development that comes into. And I think that, projects that are proposed in my district, that's a very important consideration for me. So I look forward to having further conversations, because I think much more is required here. My final question to conclude is, can you talk a bit about, as I mentioned before, there's a great need for green and open space in my district. We have the least amount of it in the city. I believe there is some open space being proposed here. I'd like to know where the reason for that, where it's coming from, if it's being triggered by the number of sites that are being included. Is that something that you all are open to sticking with, even if all these sites are not included in the proposal? Or is this being done because of a mandate being imposed on you, and what your vision is for that space?
Yes, so there's approximately just shy of 5,700 square feet of privately owned, publicly accessible open space.
Sorry, 5,700, is that what you said?
Yes, I'm sorry. Just shy of 5,700 square feet of privately owned, publicly accessible open space, sort of at the western edge of the project. If you recall from the rendering, it may be hard to imagine the building is essentially a U or V-shaped building. And the open portion of the building on the western edge, accessible from Barnwell, would be open to the public and would include both active and passive uses. Thanks for putting that back up. So in the bottom right-hand side of the screen, you can see where that space would be accessible from Barnwell. This space was incorporated into the project and is now a requirement of the project. The Department of City Planning has a restrictive declaration that would be recorded against the property, requiring that if the development were to go forward pursuant to the rezoning, that this space be provided, and ultimately that a site plan be reviewed and essentially blessed by the Department of Parks. So as part of the environmental assessment statement, we had to look at open space. We understand, and as you noted, that this community district has a lack of publicly accessible open space. So one of the requirements under seeker for the environmental assessment statement was to make a commitment to provide publicly accessible open space for this site to accommodate the potential new residents that would be brought into the community, or sorry, not brought into the, but residing in the building, such that the open space ratio isn't adversely affected.
But I would clarify, to your point and in candor, this was a requirement that was created by virtue of the larger footprint of the rezoning. So, what we're talking about now is new to me in that a potential shrinking of the scale, which likely would obviate our requirement, I think, and we'll have to look into this, to provide this. I think that's your direct question. I just want to be direct back. I do believe that would be the case.
Got it. That was my direct question. Thank you. And I would just say, green space and open space is important to me, whether or not it's a requirement coming from the size of the rezoning or not. But it's part of what I think is important, responsible, and thoughtful development. And I would expect further conversations on what would happen with that green space were it not a requirement. But I will just, flag right now too that that is not something that I would want to see changed or see simply coming from a requirement being imposed by the city.
And we'll look into that further with respect to how a potentially smaller rezoning zoning district boundary would affect that. My recollection is that it would not, that the publicly accessible open space would be a requirement to serve this site alone, but we can confirm pretty quickly with your office.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. No further questions.
Thank you, Councilmember. There being no further questions for this applicant panel, you're now excused. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will now transition to public testimony. I would like to call, I can't read the last name, but first name is Brianna. Yep, come Brianna. I believe we only have one in-person testimony. If there's someone else in person that wants to testify, please see one of the sergeant at arms to submit a speaker's card. After this testimony, we will transition to online testimony. Brianna, just please reinstate your name for the record, and you may begin.
Great. Well, thank you so much, City Council members, for having me. My name is Brianna Sia. I'm a member of Community Board for ULURP Committee, immediate past president of OCA New York, and the National Vice President of Public Affairs for OCA National, an API civil rights organization. And I'm here to urge the City Council to listen to the residents of Elmhurst and Corona and reject the mega rezoning of 7801 Queens Boulevard that will drive up the rent in our neighborhood. Our board overwhelmingly disapproved this egregious project, and over a dozen local nonprofits and community leaders have come out against this rezoning, and I provided a copy of a letter for your use. Because it will fundamentally change the character of Elmhurst for generations, eliminate one of our only manufacturing districts, and set a dangerous precedent for developments along Queens Boulevard by flooding this market with 75% market rate housing with this one site alone, let alone these developers just admitted not being in contact with the other property owners and having no idea of what may happen with the broader rezoning. This 13-story high-rise would tower over neighboring homes, local temples, and small businesses. By potentially adding 2,000 new residents within just a 2-block radius, it will overwhelm our local infrastructure, schools, and increase traffic, all while claiming to provide bare minimum community benefits. My mom was born in Elmhurst Hospital. My grandmother had one of the first Thai businesses in the district and was a founding member of the Thai temple that is just mere blocks from this application. And I want to believe that I have a future of raising a family here so I can show them our growing and beautiful little Thailand community that our city council member has helped champion. As we've seen in other Chinatowns and ethnic enclaves across the city, just one high-rise development like this, with majority market units, will pave the way for more luxury housing and high-end stores. In turn, these developments will jack up rent prices for our Asian American small businesses and elderly residents that rely on these cultural corridors. I don't know about y'all, but that future of me raising my family here isn't looking too bright. For the past 2 years, I've been looking to move within the district, and I can tell you for a fact, based on even those AMI levels alone, I would not be able to stay in this neighborhood. Developer claims they want to rent to people like me, but with what guarantee, with what sacrifices to our communities, working class families and elders? Again, I urge you to reject this application and to refer to the letter to see the other nonprofits that signed against this application as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Councilmember Krishna has a question.
Good morning, Brianna. Good to see you. Thank you for your testimony, and I appreciate all your feedback at the community board meeting and here as well. I just had one question, which, just stepping back for a second, given the fact, as I'm sure you'd agree, we are in a major housing crisis in the city, and the need for housing is great. Within the context of the current proposal, knowing that there are problems, obviously a number of sites included as well, that raise significant concerns. Currently, the property is a commercial space, a bank. It is a private site at the end of the day, too. So in light of the housing crisis we face, in light of the fact that this is currently no housing at all, but a bank, and in light of the fact that it is ultimately a private land at the end of the day, too, is there any alternative vision or ways that this proposal could be improved that would help address the fundamental housing crisis that we all agree that we face in this city? I'm just curious if you have any thoughts about how this project could be better, or are there ways, given the context of what we're operating in terms of what it is now and the ownership of it, are there ideas you have or any recommendations on ways to make it something that actually meets the housing crisis we face in the city?
Yeah, I appreciate that, City Council Member Krishnan. And again, really appreciate all the work that you've done to champion our little Thailand community and our families in the district. And so to your question, we actually raised this after you came to our community board meeting. We really appreciate you being able to speak directly with the members of the community board and the public regarding this project. We asked this question amongst ourselves, a few of the community leaders that signed this letter, as well as some of the community board members. And I think after really sitting again with this application, we today I have the same position that we had when we met with you as community leaders and at the board, that we do not believe that this application as it stands has room to be able to actually address the needs of our neighborhood. I think where we kind of come to is that we still believe that we need truly affordable housing. We do need more housing, but that housing has to be within that 50% AMI or lower. We do also want to name that with the housing crisis, there is a pattern that we've seen within our district of speculative rezonings, in the sense that these areas are rezoned and then these developers don't build anything on these plots. And we also have half a dozen, if not almost a dozen, zombie buildings within Elmhurst and Corona alone that can potentially lay a foundation for working with local nonprofits, community land trusts to actually develop 100% affordable housing, or even bare minimum 50% AMI based on these MIH, level 3 option. So I think where we stand is that just based on this application, we do not feel comfortable based on what the developer has even, I would argue, named today, of the lack of conversation with local businesses in that area, let alone potentially one nonprofit that they may be able to work with on community benefits. I would argue is not sufficient and does not address the concerns that we had earlier. And we still urge to reject this application with no recommendations to move it forward and that follows the community board vote as well. The community board voted 30 no, 1 abstention, 2 in favor of this application.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Chair.
You're excused. Thank you so much. We're going to transition to online testimony. The first panel is going to consist of Alton Smith, Jennifer Ocha, and Marielina Giampino. We'll begin first with Alton Smith. Alton, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Alton Smith.
Me.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, great. Good afternoon. Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Community Board 4. I'm the ULUP chairperson. I've been a ULUP chairperson since 2015. I'm going to say that the concerns of Community Board and the reason why we did not support this development is affordability. Currently, the median income for the area, for the district, is $70,000. 30% of that is $1,700 a month. And that's the reason why one is saying 50% of the AMI. Again, at $1,700 is what the average person can pay for housing in the area. Another reason is that it's massive. What we have experienced here in Community Board 4 is a great deal of building. So our problem is that we have too much density. We have overcrowding. So the fact that the building will be bringing in 2,000 residents to a district that's already overcrowded, that have a great deal of density. Density started with Lifrack City at the time in which emergency housing protection came into effect in the 60s. And since that time, we have had record numbers of multiple dwellings throughout Community Board 4. Currently, the building department have a record number of pending constructions. So it's not a matter of not having enough buildings. It's a matter of the rents not being affordable. If you look at the rent stabilized buildings in the area, 2 bedrooms are going for no less than $3,000. If you pull up, especially the large development, you see on your sites that 2 bedrooms are going for $3,000.
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Jennifer. Jennifer, if you can hear me, please unmute.
You may begin.
Yes. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I agree with what my colleagues, Brianna and Alton, have stated. And I can further say that, yes, it's true. There is no housing crisis. The crisis is affordable housing. We have many areas, like they stated before, that have started construction and have been abandoned. We have ghost apartments, which the greedy owners do not want to rent out because they want more for rent. We have, please, I invite you to come here and I'll personally give you a tour with my history group here in Elmhurst of all the areas which are under construction and haven't completed or just abandoned. So we have housing, we have areas, but they're not affordable to our people. When you say, another thing that I do want to implore for you to please invest in the community, like in a YMCA, a Boys and Girls Club. From the time that I started working actively with the community, not as a student and not as a child, but as an adult, the only politician that worked hand in hand with us, with the community, with the students, with the children, was State Senator Jose Peralta. And we were working towards getting a Boys and Girls Club. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I remember him fondly, and I hope that one day we can achieve what we once had. We had arcades, we had bowling alleys, we had 3 movie theaters, we had a 4-star hotel. Everything was torn down for what? For all these apartments, luxury apartments that we cannot afford. Our own people cannot live here. I work with people with different needs, with disabilities. Where are they going to live? They can't afford to live here anymore. I can't afford to live here. I live with my family,
Your time has expired. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you. And the last person in this panel is Maria Lena. Maria Lena, if you can hear me, please unmute.
Yes, thank you. I'm chairperson of Queens Community Board 4 and also on the board of 4 local nonprofits based in Elmhurst. I just want to reiterate what everyone's saying, which is true. The community does not want this. This rezoning is for luxury developments. The high density rezoning of R7X does not meet the current character of Queens Boulevard in Elmhurst, which is R6. They keep showing a map of Woodside, which is not Elmhurst, so that's also faulty information. Also, I want to say that these sites are highly contaminated. It's not just the development site, it's the other sites included in this proposal. And those sites need to be looked at carefully. They claim there was a soft review environmental. That is not enough. These sites have historically been contaminated and we do have high levels of cancer in that area. With the projected city of yes, we're going to have more housing anyway. But the housing issue is not a problem, Elmhurst. It's the affordable housing issue that's the problem. So please be careful about that. With this rezoning, we're going to be stripping away parts of our manufacturing district, the only part left in our community board of manufacturing, which is very important. Where other communities are expanding on their manufacturing, putting cultural places, recreation, youth centers, art centers, other businesses, things that we need. We're going to be taking that away, which is not good. I also want to say that it will threaten our independent small business and immigrant-owned businesses by increasing the affordability. And also, this seems like a land grab because these properties were bought for less because they're in a manufacturing zone, and now they want to basically make full profit market rate or higher by doing this rezoning. And I also want to say that there's 16 groups that signed on against this. And this all needs to be looked at carefully because it doesn't just include the one proposal, it's going to
Your time
include
has
future
expired.
developments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Krishna has a question for this panel.
Thank you so much, Chair Riley, and I appreciate all of your testimony. Good to hear from you all. It is noted, as Jennifer mentioned, as part of the panel too, the lack of community space and community institutions to support our neighborhood and help bring them together in Elmhurst. So that is a top priority of mine, and I take that concern very seriously. I would ask either Chair Giampino, Community Board Chair Giampino, or Land Use Chair Alton. Thank you both for your testimony. This is a question for either. As I asked before, too, given the housing and affordable housing crisis that we face in the city, given the fact that currently on this site it is commercial and it's a bank, and the need generally for more affordable housing throughout our city, especially on transit-oriented corridors, whether it's Northern Boulevard or Queens Boulevard, and given the fact that, again, under realistic considerations, looking at the proposal, that it is a privately owned site, are there any recommendations or visions you all have for this site that could help address our affordable housing and housing crisis that we face? Are there things that you could think that are there ways that you think this project proposal could be improved to help address it?
I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
Yeah, no, this rezoning proposal is also a little bit, I would say, vague because, like I said, it includes other properties that we have no idea what's going to be built there. So that's something long term, which is very vague, and we don't know what it's going to be promising for the community to have those other sites rezoned. So that's something that's a major concern. So as this proposal is, I would say no, there is no way that we could say, yeah, this is going to help the community because it's just so vague with those other properties. And we don't know if it's going to be affordable. We don't know what the MIH is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be built. We don't know if they're going to be a community center. We don't know what it's actually going to give to our community. So I would say this proposal, there's no room to talk unless we know what else is going to be going on there.
Noted. Thank you, Chair. And then Land Use Chair Alton. Alton, you there?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here.
Good.
Thank you, Councilman. I did, after you spoke with us, I did put it out on the floor for community board members to speak about it. And they basically stood firm that they voted against it. The question was, what was the developer offering? And I think there was a misunderstanding that the developer was offering a open pit space, a park. But basically, that after you spoke with us for almost an hour, I believe, the community board stood next to what they said, that they do not support this proposal. And going back to what the chair said, is that we don't know who these other owners are. And according to the application said that these properties not represented by the applicant is going to be developed into affordable housing, a total of 500 development, but yet no one been in contact with developers, and we didn't have the opportunity to speak with them. So that's another concern.
Thank you, Alton. Appreciate all your testimony. Good to hear from you all. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Council Member. This panel is excused. The last panel we'll hear from regarding this proposal will consist of Clara Maria Salas and Theodore Perez. We'll begin first with Clara. Clara, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Clara Maria Salas, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Clara, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, but I cannot mute.
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, well, I like the project, like the opportunities, but as the other speakers have pointed out, we cannot afford it. We can only afford programs that can service those that can pay according to their income. And right now, I'm supposed to have the income that place in Manhattan or in parts of Brooklyn have. We need housing for people that are working class, middle income. Right now, I live in a building where we should get a two-bedroom apartment is $3,500. Horrible. How can people live with that kind of rent? So what I can say is that we have to look this thing over and try to work a way where we can have income according to what the people are making in the vicinity. And right now, I mean, when I moved in my building, the rent was $800. Today, I pay $1,600. And next year, we'll be paying $1,700. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. Next, we'll hear from Theodore Perez.
You may begin.
Good afternoon to Chair Riley, Member Krishnan, and to all the other committee members. My name is Theo Perez. I'm here today representing SEIU Local 32BJ. 32BJ is the largest union of property service workers in the country, representing over 175,000 members across 13 states, including tens of thousands of commercial property service workers, security officers, and residential building staff in New York City. Our union is here today in support of the proposed rezoning and development at 7801 Queens Boulevard. I am happy to report that the developers behind this proposal have made a credible commitment to creating prevailing wage jobs for the workers who will permanently staff the future development at 7801 Queens Boulevard. Good jobs like these mean prevailing wages, family-sustaining benefits, and a pathway to the middle class, often for local community members who tend to fill such positions. In addition to the important job creation that will come from this project, as rents reach historic highs and housing availability reaches a historic low, 32BJ recognizes the need for more housing to be built in every neighborhood of New York City. This project will introduce 314 new units of housing to Queens Community Board 4, District 4, 79 of which will be income restricted and available to low and middle income residents. As the cost of living rises and working New Yorkers struggle to stay in their homes, it is more important now than ever to create affordable housing and good jobs which uphold the industry standard in the city. For all of these reasons, 32BJ supports the 7801 Queens Boulevard rezoning proposal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. There being no questions for this panel is excused. Is there anyone here that has to testify on LUs relating to the 78-01 Queens Boulevard rezoning? There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on the pre-considered LUs for ULIP number C 250044 ZMQ and N 250045 ZRQ relating to the 78-01 Queens Boulevard rezoning, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. I will now open the public hearing on pre-considered LU item under ULIP number C250090 ZMK for the 535 Morgan Avenue rezoning. An application by a private applicant to rezone the existing M1-1 district to a C7-1 district to facilitate the redevelopment of a new supermarket in the existing retail development along the western edge of the development site. The zoning change will allow a portion of the existing building to be retenanted by a grocery store use of a greater than 10,000 square feet, which is not permitted as of right under the existing zoning. This project is located in Brooklyn in Councilmember Gutierrez's district. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Adam Rothkrog, and I see you have a few other people with you. They could just state their name for the record. Council, can you please administer the affirmation?
Applicants, would you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee in an answer to all council member questions?
I do.
And please state your name for the record.
Sure. For the record, Chris Pezza. I do.
Lauren Sanders with ownership. I do.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. And now the applicant team may begin. Please just reinstate your name and organization for the record before you begin.
Thank you. I'm Adam Rothkrug from Rothkrug Inspector. I'm here today on behalf of Hemmer 2 LLC and Me and Morgan LLC. And we can just go to the second slide, please. Those companies are affiliates of Midwood Investment and Development, a third-generation New York-based family-owned real estate company. And we're here in connection with the rezoning of the property at 535 Morgan Avenue, which consists of the entire block bounded by Meeker Avenue, Morgan Avenue, Kingsland Avenue, and Lombardy Street, an irregularly shaped parcel of just over 100,000 square feet in area. It's currently developed with in two sections. The westerly section is a McDonald's fast food restaurant that you may recognize from when you get onto the Kosciuszko Bridge, right on the service road, South Service Road there. And adjacent to that is the shopping center with a one-story retail building, about 40,000 square feet in area, that has an AutoZone and Dollar Tree stores. There was formerly a Staples store that recently became vacant, and that's where we're proposing to put the new Aldi supermarket. There's also off-street parking for 110 cars. And as noted, we're in Community District Number 1 in Councilperson Gutierrez's district. Next slide. We're proposing to rezone the site from M11 to C71 to facilitate no new construction, just the use of the former Staples store, which is just over 20,000 square feet in area, to a new Aldi supermarket. The current M1 zoning regulations limit the size to 10,000 square feet, and that will be alleviated by the C7 zoning, which will permit the proposed supermarket and eliminate restriction on some other permitted commercial uses in the event any of the other spaces become vacant, even though the other stores have existing leases that run for several years. While increasing the permitted commercial FAR from 1 to 2, the C71 actually decreases the overall permitted FAR from 2.4 to 2.0. As noted, no new construction is proposed or anticipated, and the proposed Aldi will be located completely within the space formerly occupied by Staples. Next slide. This is just a comparison of the district. The C7, again, reduces the total permitted floor area. It does increase the commercial floor area, but again, no new construction is proposed. Next slide. The site and surrounding area east of Kingsland Avenue have been zoned M11 since the adoption of the 1961 zoning resolution, and the property is just northwest of the North Brooklyn Industrial Business Zone, which consists of 164 blocks. I think it's the second largest IBZ in the city. The BQE separates the site from residential Greenpoint to the north, and Kingsland Avenue separates it from residential East Williamsburg to the west. These communities are badly in need of a large supermarket. These neighborhoods are mostly improved with 3- and 4-story row houses, some taller apartment buildings. Next slide. Site has good access to public transportation, including subways approximately half-mile away, the G train and the L train at Grand Avenue and Metropolitan Avenue, as well as the B24, which runs directly in front of the property, and the B48 bus that runs just to the north. Next slide. The proposed C71 is a relatively new zoning district created by City Planning Commission as part of the City of Yes zoning changes. It may be the first C71 coming before the council. This would eliminate the restrictions on some stores over 10,000 square feet, which are currently in the M1 limited to toy, hardware, drug, book, and office supply stores. And again, will most notably permit the supermarket. Review of the area indicates a need for additional supermarkets. In this area, there's a Met Food Market, which is 7,500 square feet, and the City Fresh Market, which is 5,600 square feet. So this neighborhood really doesn't have a full-service market. We received very strong unanimous support from Community Board 1 that are looking forward to the store, as well as from the Borough President's Office. Aldi is known throughout as a low-priced supermarket. They have 2,200 stores in 38 states. They're number one on one of the indexes for low-price index. They donate 30 million pounds of food each year in the U.S. To Feeding America, and they have very liberal return and guarantee policies. So, as I said, the community is really looking forward to have a full-size, full-service supermarket at this location. And this is Chris Fezer and Lauren Saunders from Midwood Development. Yep.
Thank you, Adam. Before I go into questioning, we have a few speaker cards here where the speakers did not indicate what specific item or number they signed up to testify on. So, in person, and your name was not called, please come forward to identify yourself so we could take your testimony. So if you signed up and didn't indicate which project you wanted to testify on, please see one of the sergeant at arms to indicate that. Okay. What other zoning districts or uses were contemplated here, and how did you choose a C7-1 district?
So the C71 was chosen when we started the when we started the application process. The C71 didn't exist, and city planning, when they passed the City of Yes, they said this is perfect for you. Again, the M1 as it pertains to supermarkets is very restrictive, limiting it to 10,000 square feet. There is a zoning special permit that's available for supermarkets over 10,000 in a M1. But the other issue is that supermarkets have an extremely high parking requirement. So the special permit would not have applied here because we would not have been able to provide the proposed parking. So there were no no other uses proposed. The Dollar Tree and AutoZone both have existing leases. The McDonald's has a long-term lease. And again, this is really geared toward getting the supermarket there in the easiest way possible.
Okay. Well, I think you kind of answered my second question, which is how will this new C7-1 district change the allowable use in buildings from the remainder of the lot? But you just answered that. So I guess my last question is, what will happen to the site if Aldi's Groceries decides to back out?
Yeah, so that's one of the other considerations for the C71, because as I said, the M1 limits stores over 10,000 square feet. And then this challenging retail market that's changed, if Aldi were to go out, which they're just coming in, so we don't anticipate that, but we'll have the flexibility of going just beyond those 4 or 5 stores that are permitted there. And it would permit other, larger retail uses that are limited at the current time. But Again, we need the parking for the uses, so it's not new construction. It's really just being able to tenant your space.
Okay. I have no more questions. You guys are excused. Thank you so much for your
Great,
testimony.
thank you very much.
Do I have any members in this room that wanted to testify on this item? Please raise your hand. Okay. There being no members of the public who wish to testify on the pre-considered LU for the ULIP number C250090ZMK relating to the 535 Morgan Avenue rezoning, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. I will now open our final hearing for today, which is pre-considered LU item under ULIP number C250064ZMK relating to the 74 Bogart Street rezoning, an application by a private applicant for a zoning map amendment to change from an M1-2 zoning district to an M1-4A zoning to facilitate the development of a 7-story building approximately 118 feet tall for use on its western portion as an art storage. This project is located in Brooklyn in Councilmember Gutierrez District as well. For anyone wishing to testify regarding these proposals, please see one of the Sergeant at Arms to submit a speaker's card. And to anyone who wants to testify online, please sign up and register at council.nyc.gov/land use. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now call the applicant panel for this proposal, which consists of Ethan Goodman, John Clifford, Paul Carr, Caroline Page Katz, Cyril Peachtra Fiza, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, and Andrew Inhinger. Council, can you please administer the affirmation?
Applicants, would you please raise your right hand and answer the following? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before the subcommittee in an answer to all council member questions? Ethan Goodman.
I do.
Paul Carr.
I do.
Caroline Page Katz.
I do.
And I'm sorry, I don't have a card for you.
Cyril Pietrafeza.
Okay. Please, before you leave, be sure to fill out a speaker card.
No problem.
Thank you. For the viewing public, if you need an accessible version of this presentation, please send an email request to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. I will now ask the applicant team, you may begin. Please just reinstate your name or organization for the record. You may begin.
Good morning, Councilmember Riley, any other council members that may be viewing this now or later. My name is Ethan Goodman. I'm with Fox Rothschild. We are land use counsel to the applicant, Uovo Art. And I'm joined by Caroline Page Katz, who's the president and COO of Uovo. And she'll be talking just briefly about who Uovo is. And Paul Carr will be talking about the building that we're proposing to build. Caroline?
We can go to the next slide. As mentioned, we are a national art storage and fashion logistics company serving artists, museums, galleries, foundations, and institutions across 26 locations in the United States. At our heart, though, and at our core, we're a New York City headquartered business. We have 280,000 square feet in Long Island City, 150,000 square foot building in Brooklyn, and we employ 65 New York residents, 41 of whom live in Brooklyn. With this new project at Bogart, we're expected to create up to 30 jobs and continue to participate in the local and New York City arts community. We can go to the next slide. I think sometimes when you talk about art storage, it can feel a little bit bland, but what really Uovo is a hub for the arts community. We have a professional community that uses our spaces, not only our employees, but a radiant community of registrars, archivists, art handlers, curators, collections managers, creators, framers, you name it. In addition to storage, we have active spaces for viewing rooms that we do conservation, installations, inventory cataloging. We have a client cafe. Our buildings serve as places that people come to work, both our employees and our clients. And then they have many visitors who come from across the world in New York. They stay in Brooklyn and our locations. They have lunch. They reside. It's really kind of radiates out into the community. We also have staff art shows and conference and workrooms. We included some photos here so you could see how the community engages with our properties. The next slide, please. In addition, we also support the local artist community. We have the WOVO Prize, which just awarded its 5th annual prize in June for emerging artists who have to be a Brooklyn resident. It's a $25,000 grant with a public installation at Evergreen, and then an exhibit, a solo exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum. In addition to that, we often do in-kind service. We've worked with the New York AIDS Memorial, we've worked with Creative Time, and we've also helped install a sculpture in Times Square.
Next slide, please.
And you can see here that these are the various supporting institutions that we've worked with, many of whom are not-for-profits that help to keep the arts community in New York City.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Carolyn. Again, Ethan Goodman with Fox Rothschild. Just to orient you as to where the site is and what we're proposing for this project, the site occupies the full block immediately adjacent to the Morgan Avenue subway exit. It's between Morgan Avenue and Bogart Street, Ingram and Harrison Street. Currently on the eastern half of the site, there's a self-storage facility, and that facility essentially takes up all of the 2 FAR that's currently permitted on the site. And so if you look in the next slide, the guiding principle as far as what we're proposing here was guided by Department of City Planning's North Brooklyn Industry and Innovation Plan. They established a number of districts for this larger industrial area, a number of sub-areas, one of which was at the southern edge of the site of this slide. You'll see this pink area, which was identified as a growth district. We are right smack dab in the middle of this growth district. The recommendations for this district were to increase density for commercial and industrial uses, to create new loft-like building envelopes, and to develop new M districts or land use tools that allow for densities between 2 and 5 FAR. So what we are proposing for this application meets actually all of those goals. If you'll see on the next slide, we're proposing to rezone the entire block from its current M12 to an M14A, which actually sort of very similar to the last presentation for you in Morgan Avenue. We may be the first M14A that's coming before you. This is a new district that was passed pursuant to City of Yes. And again, like the previous application, when we first started this process, that district didn't exist, right? So, but what this district does allow us to do is it does not change any of the uses permitted here. This is largely a commercial industrial manufacturing area. It stays that way with this. It just increases the density that's permitted in this block from 2 FAR to 5 FAR. The M14A also allows for somewhat more loft-like building envelopes than some other districts that might permit the similar M15 FAR. The site's immediately proximate to transit. The B60 bus runs along the eastern side on Morgan. The subway exit is on the western side on Bogart, and so it's really easy to get to. It's an ideal candidate for an increase in density. And so what this will allow us to do is allow for the additional density to rebuild what is currently a FedEx truck parking lot, and has been that for years, and build the Uovo Art logistics and storage facility. And I'll let Paul Carr just talk a little bit about what building we're proposing, and you can go to the next slide for that.
So I just want to...
Just press the button. There you
Thank
go.
you. Just a slide here to give a sense of what we looked at in coming up with our illustrative design proposal. Basically, the historic character of the East Williamsburg, as well as its evolving character these days. Next slide, please. An overall view of the site, you can see the FedEx parking lot in the foreground with the proposed general volume of the building, and on the left-hand side, an existing self-storage building, which the project shares the block with. Next slide, please. A view from the southwest corner of the site as you would come out of the subway, the L train. We feel this is an important corner of the project. Again, in the foreground, you see the FedEx parking lot, and in the background, the existing self-storage building. Next slide, please. And the proposed building, a collage of various materials to break down the scale. Again, somewhat of a loft building in conformance with the general intent of the district. As I mentioned, we see this corner as important, and we've located the building entrance, the pedestrian entrance, as you see in the foreground with a canopy. And there's various street activation going up Bogart to the left. And take the next slide. And this slide we include just to point out the importance of the street activation. Again, the entrance to the building on the right. As one moves to the left, there's various front office uses that would activate the sidewalk. And then to the very left, there's a notion to include show windows, which could display a revolving program of artwork. And the next slide. That's a view from the west from the park on McKibben. You can see the park to the right. And next slide, please. And a view from the northwest. This actually in the foreground showcases the display windows I mentioned previously. And the next slide, please. And I think I take it to Ethan.
Sure. Thank you, Paul. So in closing, I just want to go over some of the recommendations we've heard in the ULURP process. We are very proud that we are able to confidently commit to essentially all the recommendations that came through this process, both the Community Board, the City Planning Commission, and the Borough President's Office. And just briefly, some of those recommendations included to work with local schools to promote art education. This is something UOVO has already done in the past with schools. They've at PS 274, they did an artist in residency program to basically bring art education to more students that don't have it as part of their natural curriculums. We're working on doing that for local schools in this site, and we're committed to that. Contributing to maintenance and capital improvements to Gilbert Ramirez Park. So right behind the subway is Gilbert Ramirez Park, and I think it's generous to say that park could use a fair amount in the way of maintenance and improvements. We are currently coordinating with the North Brooklyn Parks Alliance and the Parks Department towards this end to do that. Use local artists for outside work and bring some visual interest to the ground floor. Totally in line with that. So as you saw from what Paul showed, we're doing transparency in the ground floor. That's a great opportunity to bring local art into that ground floor to liven it up. There may be some UOVO Prize tie-ins, as Caroline mentioned. The current prize puts a large mural on their Evergreen Avenue site. We can also do some tie-ins with local artists there. UOVO thinks it's incredibly important to support the local artist community, especially in this area of East Williamsburg-Bushwick, where that's such a part of life there. Exploring the possibility of 100% electric sources. We're currently conducting a feasibility assessment to do just that. We're also evaluating the potential for rooftop solar to further make this project sustainable. And then the last comment that came in, I believe this was from the borough president, actually had to do with the adjacent site at CubeSmart. A lot of self-storage presents a blank wall and a blank face to the community and local streets. The UOVO parent company that owns that site has worked really hard to bring retail and active uses in there. They've got 16,000 square feet of non-self-storage on the ground floor there, right on Morgan Avenue. They've leased, it's been tough going because it's a tough retail environment there, but they've successfully leased half of that up. A large portion is going to be taken up by a place called Shama Mama, which is a Georgian restaurant. It's got a great reputation in a couple of other sites. It opens in Brooklyn. And so that's part of the entire effort here for UOVO and the parent company to enliven this entire block, convert what is now really an inactive parking lot to a real benefit to the community. And with that, I will close if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. I just have a few questions. You're introducing a storage facility in a transition area that borders residential uses and is directly near a subway station. Why is storage an appropriate use for this location, and how will your storage facility activate the streetscape?
Yeah. First, I think it's important to say while the headline here has been art storage, there's really a lot more than just like inactive storage that goes on here, right? There's a lot of active uses. There's sort of art curation. There's workshops. There's art conserving. There's actually public events here that occur. The public is invited in. There's a lot of training of art handlers, right? So it's not fair to really just characterize this as storage, which people consider to be some like inactive dead use, right? This is really a lively use. And so the first thing we want to do is further enliven the ground floor, and we're investigating ways to do that. And the second thing it's important to note, you don't see a lot of rezonings that come before you that take something like an M12 and seek to increase density for an M use in an M area, right? There are a few residential uses here, right, that are not necessarily conforming to the underlying zoning, but predominantly this is like a manufacturing and industrial area, right? And, here in our society, we don't make a lot of things and produce a lot of things domestically, but there's a lot of support for manufacturing, and we put ourselves into that category. And so we think it's really important to support that overall M type of character here and bring a use in that like supports the sort of industrial uses that occur around it.
Thank you. A storage facility is inherently an inward-facing use. How does your facility plan to add value to the surrounding neighborhood?
Yeah. So first of all, I don't want to underestimate the fact that so right now and for years it's been a parking lot, right, for FedEx vehicles. So when people come out of the subway, they see a parking lot, right? It's got a fence, it's got trucks, they go in and out. And I don't think many people think that's a real great benefit to the community. What we're doing is actually bringing in active use in here with and attempting as best we can to enliven that ground floor and bring light into it, bring local artists' work, bring transparency into it, and activate this with active uses. The employees that'll be employed here, 30 or more, this is not just sort of employees that are like sitting at desks or something, right? These are employees that they may start out as like doing just sort of moving art around, but it's really it's a launching point for a career here in art handling and art storage and logistics. These are employees that go throughout the city working into museums. And so it's really, I think, by employing Brooklynites, employing New York City people, we can bring a big benefit to this area. I know, Carolyn, you want to.
I would also just add that while inward facing, we do have a lot of clients who bring people to the building, right? They do. We have a foundation in our Evergreen location, and they have museums and other cultural institutions coming from around the world to work in their space, to work with them in their space. Like I mentioned before, they stay locally in hotels, they go out to dinner, they buy their lunch, they work in those spaces. And so it not only is within our building, but radiates to the rest of the community. And I think enlivens the street. People go out to lunch. Our team members go out to lunch. They work in that building every day. And it creates a lot of long-term employment opportunities.
Beautiful. Just one last question. You guys coming to the Bronx anytime soon? I really think
Maybe.
this is a really beautiful building. Really beautiful for the area. Hoping that we pass it. I would love to come out and check it out once it's built.
We love to have visitors, so anytime we love to show people what we do.
Thank you so much. I have no more questions for this panel. You're excused.
Thank you.
I'm going to transition to in-person testimony. First, I'm going to call Travis Bauk. Brianna, I can't pronounce your last name. Brianna Lowry, excuse me. Ho-Jae Kim and Jake Helen. Is Jake here? Is Jake? Ho-Jae? Is Jake here? Jake? Okay. All right. We'll begin first with Brianna.
Sure. Am I on?
Yes.
Thanks. Thank you so much. It's good to be here. My name is Brennan Lowry. I've been an employee of WOVO. That's okay. It's probably my handwriting. I've been an employee of WOVO for 3 years. I've been a leader at the organization and have been a resident of Brooklyn for 11 years after living in Manhattan for a number of years. I have spent the majority of my career working for companies with offices in Manhattan and going back and forth, and was thrilled to be able to move to WOVO a few years ago and be able to live and work in the same borough. I'm based, as I mentioned, in Brooklyn and work out of our Bushwick facility on Evergreen Avenue. Similar to what my colleague shared earlier, we really enjoy hosting clients in our spaces on a daily basis, and it is friends of clients and others who come also. And we host them all day. They then go out to lunch. They stay in the area, and it's a great community experience. As mentioned, we love Brooklyn. We love supporting the community and the arts in Brooklyn, and I'm certainly in full support of this project on Bogart Avenue and the expansion.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Travis.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Travis Boyer. I am a working artist
I've been in the area since 2004. And I'm here to support this Art Logistics Center. I think it will significantly enhance the sidewalk and the area that you see when you exit the subway. Also promoting more consistent maintenance, cleanliness, public safety, and also trees. In addition to speaking on behalf of the artist community and the middle-aged hipster community. I am also a licensed New York City tree pruner, and it's a neighborhood that could definitely use more trees. I think the project would take an underutilized property and turn it into additional space for arts. I think a lot of the cool sort of light and extra light industry that occurs in that area, things like photo studios, vintage clothes, exotic food, frame shops, things like what I do, are really like an important part of the economic life of that area. And so, yeah, I am thrilled to support this project and this rezoning.
Thank you. Jose?
Hello. So thank you for having me, and my name is Ho-Jae Kim. I'm an internationally exhibiting artist and also a founder and CEO of a local arts nonprofit, Civil Art. Personally, I have also, in addition to making artworks, personally I have been working with local elementary schools, youth camps, and also higher education like NYU. And also through my nonprofit, I've been fundraising and also creating programs to support the local emerging artists, young writers, and also young art administratives. And in my professional experience, I have been working with a lot of different organizations, institutions, and also corporations. And I am personally and professionally excited that UOVO will be opening up a space in Brooklyn. I personally know many artists whose lives have for the better changed drastically through UOVO support. And I also know many individuals who are working in the company who are very, at the core, integrated with the local and international arts world and industry. So knowing that, and personally, I have also been in that area for a very long time. And knowing that right now there's a fenced off parking lot that's inaccessible, but knowing that eventually it will become a space that actually becomes a foundation for local art community, I think that's a very exciting and such a prospect to be looked forward to. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You're excused. Thank you so much. The next panel we'll call will consist of Luis Valesi, Siu Zai, Sierra Maranta, and Tyrone. I'm sorry, we're going to transition into iPads. It's a little hard reading some signatures. Sorry about that if I mispronounce your name. We'll start first from the left. Just please reinstate your name for the record and you may begin.
Is it on? Okay. Hi, my name is Sierra Maranta. I was born and raised in Bushwick, on the L line from Bushwick, Aberdeen, all the way up to Grand Street. I went to elementary, middle, and high school there, and I have a lot of memories that make this neighborhood in particular very special to me, which is why I came to speak today. I'm in Bushwick pretty often, and I have seen it change a lot since I was a kid. I always have a genuine interest in seeing the neighborhood continue to grow beyond what it already has in the last decade. Right now, the site at 74 Bogart is just a parking lot next to the storage facility, and honestly, it doesn't really do much for the block. I think that turning it into something useful and nice looking would brighten up the area and make it more inviting. It would bring in jobs and more people during the day, which is great for the local restaurants and businesses in the area. And it embraces the culture of the community where there are a lot of local creatives and artists who could benefit from having access to this space. I appreciate that this isn't just another big residential project that drives up housing costs. From my personal experience, this is what ultimately forced me and my family, as well as many that I know, out of the neighborhood. Buildings are sold and the tenants who are native to the neighborhood are no longer able to afford to live there. where this facility is something that actually adds to the community and instead of taking things away, which is important to me. From what I know about WOVO, they really care about the community, which means a lot. From painting murals in the hallways of local schools to brighten children's spaces and holding work events locally to support local businesses. To me, this demonstrates that WOVO also understands the importance of community and giving back. So I really hope that they are able to move forward with their plans because it will only do great things for the neighborhood. I'm in support of this project.
Hi, my name is Yasiru Zhao. I'm a working artist who's working like just off a block away from the site. So every day I will pass by this parking lot. I usually work pretty late. However, I would feel like if this building to be built on the site, it will be more safe for me in the area with their promise to provide better lighting to the streets and then clean up the sidewalks. And also, I have been to many of their events where they celebrate artists who also working in the area. I think it's a very meaningful thing for like emerging artists to be having something like this. You who cherish the community as a whole. Thereby, I support this project. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Louise Velacci, and I'm here with my partner, Latima King, and we are the co-founders of LIFT, which stands for Leading Individuals from Trauma. We are a food pantry that effectively combats hunger and food insecurity, and we are a community-based organization that offers a range of wraparound services and connects individuals with partner agencies for additional support. We've been in business almost 5 years, serving the tri-state area and Suffolk County communities. One thing we have been passionate about since the pandemic is helping underserved individuals. It brings us great joy to know that my partner and I have been able to support these people in need. During the pandemic, we fed approximately 350 people a month. Now those numbers, due to a serious food insecurity in the Bushwick neighborhood surrounding 74 Bogart Street, has risen to approximately 4,836 people a month. WUVO is our neighbor, and over the past several months, we've had the chance to get to know them through their recent outreach and concern for the neighborhood. This is currently growing into a meaningful partnership. WUVO recently supported our 4th annual back-to-school event, and we look forward to continuing to work together since both of our organizations are here for long-term in this community. We've spoken with UVO about their proposed project and think it will be a great addition to the neighborhood. It will create good-paying local jobs, and we've already started conversations about how we can collaborate on their hiring efforts. Our program works hand-in-hand with HRA, and our workforce development initiative has been helping the community for years. We want to make sure that the residents of Brooklyn and this neighborhood in particular have access to the opportunities. They're known for their strong training programs, and we discuss partnering with them for many things. We believe that UVO's application is good, and we approve it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tyron Armstrong. I am Associate Director of Operations for WOVO. I manage at in our Bushwick facility on 105 Evergreen. I'm also a local resident. I live right in Greenpoint and am very kind of tied to this neighborhood in that location in particular. I actually met my wife. She lived right on Harrison Place when we first started dating. So I'm very familiar with that neighborhood and what it's transitioned to over the years. Historically, it's kind of been a bit run down, very sketchy, dirty streets, rat infested, etc. But with this proposal, I believe that the space will turn over. This is a very strong arts community with a lot of artists and studios. I know my team in particular and all the WOVO staff are, like everybody has mentioned before, it is a very community and client-facing activated space. We often participate with things in our neighborhood. We do team building activities outside of work at the local restaurants and bars, and we do contribute to the overall economy and feel of the neighborhood. We get to know our neighbors, and we do a lot to make sure that we are the best tenants that we can possibly be, and we support and give back to the community.
Thank you all for your testimony. You all excused. Thank you so much. Just one more time. Is Jake Heller in the room? Okay. We'll transition to online testimony. First, we'll hear from Sean Driscoll, followed by Daniel Morris. Sean Driscoll, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin. Sean Driscoll, if you can hear me, please unmute.
Hi, Sean Driscoll here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So thank you everyone for the presentation. I was actually in attendance to the last one as well and would like to give my support for the project. I don't have a lot of unique thoughts here. I'll echo what a lot of people have said, especially being that in its current use as a parking lot, there is not a whole lot of benefit for the community. Brooklyn has always been a center for the arts, and I've been a resident of nearby Williamsburg for many years. I've seen the neighborhood change a bit and would love to see more art being added back to the neighborhood. So I see UOVO's project as a good opportunity to do so. The other is that being directly across from the subway station, currently it's very dark. It's covered in litter. There's often, lingering scent of smoke, and it generally feels a bit unsafe, especially when the sun goes down. And I see this project as an opportunity to make the neighborhood, and especially the area immediately surrounding that subway stop, a bit more safe and comforting to, not only people that live there, but visitors coming to, enjoy the neighborhood. So in that said, would like to provide my support for the project.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear
Thank you,
from
everyone.
Daniel Morris.
Hey, my name is Daniel Morris. I similarly live in Williamsburg, near Greenpoint, and not too far from the proposed 74 Boulevard Street site. I've been in New York for over 10 years and been a resident of Brooklyn for a big portion of that time. I spent a lot of time in Bushwick to myself, and it's one of the few neighborhoods in the city that continues to feel like it has a real creative pulse, and that's in large part why I'm here to, like many others today, lend my support to UOVO's proposed project. I don't want to belabor the point, but just as Sean has mentioned, the fact that we're just moving to, or rather they're just moving to take over what's currently a parking lot that doesn't add much to the area, seems to just make perfect sense to me. That's something clean, well-designed, and what appears to be genuinely supportive of the arts makes good sense. What's clear is that OVO should have the city's confidence. They're already in the Brooklyn neighborhood, invested here, clearly supporting neighborhood charities and the community. And it's something that I think Bushwick would benefit from. It continues to look like that the area will benefit from this investment and strengthen the neighborhood's character. And I hope that it receives the council's support. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other testimony online, this panel is excused. We'll transition back to in-person testimony. I'll call Paul up to give his testimony.
Hello. Paul Stamolsky. I'm the president of the North Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. We're a hyperlocal nonprofit business organization that represents Bushwick, Greenpoint, and Williamsburg. Being quite familiar with the neighborhood, which, by the way, is an arts and industrial community, I want to emphasize the fact that this is not your typical self-storage facility, but is instead a specialized business that will cater to galleries, museums, and artists. And we anticipate that many of our local artists will apply to fill the numerous skilled positions needed to operate this facility. Hopefully, some of them will use this as a starting off point for careers. The structure itself, as it's been presented to us, is not only a definite upgrade from this truck parking lot, but is also a thoughtfully designed building that fits the aesthetic and the character of the neighborhood. I walked those streets again this weekend and couldn't help but imagine how much better off it would be with a business like this that would offer safer frontage and consistent foot traffic, not forgetting to mention the opportunity to incorporate public art in the exterior plan and also host various community events. We strongly support this project and firmly believe that we're talking about a company here that will truly become a good neighbor and a good partner with regard to local priorities. Also related, in a 2-for-1, I'm also a board member of the North Brooklyn Angels, which is a food insecurity nonprofit, and we appreciate the work that OVO's commitment to the community has been, and we also support this project. So thank you for the time and the opportunity.
Thank you for your testimony, Paul. You're now excused. Is there anyone else in the room that wants to testify on this project? Okay. There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on pre-considered LU for the ULUP number C250064ZMK relating to the 74 Bogart Street rezoning, the public hearing is now closed and the item is laid over. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for participating in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.